Detroit Business Hub Group Director Nancy O'Neill works with her team of experts. Listen to conversations with business professionals to discover the latest business innovations, insights, and trends. Find out what's hot and what's not in today's business market.
Hi, Mike. How are you doing today? Rosh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I just got an email from Mike, so it threw me off a little bit.
Let's all say hello to Mike too. Hey, Mike.
I actually invited him to join us. He wasn't able to make it tonight, but thank you for coming out to the studio, Rosh. Rosh is a member of Detroit Business Hub Group. That's actually the first time I've ever done that. That's what happens sometimes when you go live. I'm going to see if I can get that edited out for the replay.
That's all right. We're saying hello to Mike. It's good. It's all good.
Yeah, I was kind of frustrated the first time I did this because it was everything did not go as planned. And I was like, yeah, Mike just had me. He just threw me out into the water on my own. So I'm out here. It's like sink or swim.
That's all normal.
Yeah, but at least he's in the hub group and I didn't pull his name out of anywhere. Mike is my brother's name too.
Oh.
So anyway, Rosh, go ahead and introduce yourself. The audience now knows that you're a member of Detroit Business Hub Group, but tell us what else you do.
Yeah, I am a member, and I own Rosh Media, which is a digital media firm. We're located just outside of Detroit in Pleasant Ridge proper, and on Woodward, actually, which I love. Our focus. Pardon?
So you have a gorgeous studio.
Yeah,
I've been here
you.
Before.
Yes, you have been here before. We focus on, we're a very visual company. My background is photography, but also video at certain levels. Really Google is our focus when it comes to a lot of the work that we do, but our background has many different facets to it. I've written books on social media as well as photography, and very involved in the YouTube community and especially the educational community. So that's what keeps us going. It's a lot of fun, a lot of doing a little something different every day.
Yeah, sounds great. You're like a media mogul.
We try.
Yeah, that's great. So you've helped me out on a couple with a few photo shoots.
That's how we met.
Yep, exactly. The Entrepreneur magazine. You gave us some shots for that, and then you've covered a couple of shots for DBHG. Just tell us, how's the photography business going? How do you combine that with social media? Like, give us an everyday in the life of Rosh Sillars and what you do. It sounds like every day is different. It
is a little different. I like it that way. I came out of the media. I was a photojournalist for about 25 years, but I was also an internet geek at the same time. And I used a lot of what I had learned on the internet side all the way back to the bulletin board days to just help grow my business and understand what was going on as the internet developed and social media developed, and all the way to, even today, just last week, I created my first NFT just because that's the latest thing, just to experience what that is. And those
I don't even know what that is. What is it? Yeah, tell us what it is.
It's great. NFT. Think of it as, we may be familiar with the term blockchain and Bitcoin, which is a form of currency. Well, imagine turning your photograph into, in a sense, a Bitcoin.
Okay.
And now, because it uses the blockchain method, there's multiple ledgers of it. We don't have to get into all the details of it, but now your artwork has a record. So an artist can create a piece of work. Someone can buy it, but here's the great thing and they usually buy it using some kind of Ethereum, like it's like Bitcoin. But each time that piece of work is sold, the artist still gets a piece of it.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Because there's now a record of how that the exchanges of that piece of work, and it's become really big. Like, for example, the first tweet was auctioned off, and it went for $2 million.
Oh, wow!
The very first NFT was auctioned off and went for $69 million
Oh my
not that long
goodness.
ago. Now, not every NFT, mine certainly is not going for big money, but
Right.
it was the experience of learning how to create it and upload it and things like that. So that's an example of always trying to be forward thinking and how I combine things with my business. And you mentioned, how in the world, what social media and photography. Well, funny enough, because I took on social media early, because I was there being involved in podcasting. My first podcast, believe it or not, was in 1999 before there's a pod. And,
Oh, wow.
we were using real audio back then.
Okay.
And so anyway, just by keep doing that and combining what I'm doing together, it always separated me from the competition. And because I was a photographer and getting involved in social media, I developed a website called New Media Photographer. And I created a podcast around that, and Twitter, and it just literally took me around the world. That combination, kind of being the social media guy for photographers early on, and then eventually I went mainstream because there was enough demand, and so I continue to do that. So I still combine things. I'm always what I refer to as a combination code, always looking for new things to combine with your core, who you are, to separate yourself from the competition. The nice thing about that is when you're not. Photographers find themselves in this situation all the time, just feeling like a commodity. There's a million photographers out there, but when you have something that separates you, you can command your own rate, and not just be a commodity, just another photographer. You're not getting people who are looking for a photographer, just any photographer. For a photographer, you're looking for somebody who's looking for you. And that's the way I go about business, and it's very helpful. And so I do that with all my media, and I help businesses grow. And it's been a big part of what I've done, especially over the last year. We've grown well over 100% over the last year, helping businesses making that shift has been really just mandatory.
Right. Yeah. A lot of businesses, like we were saying, kind of behind on the green screen, they are shifting or attempting to shift from that brick and mortar to having more of an online presence, or possibly fully going online. How have you helped multiple businesses with that transition? Like,
Sure.
what type of services do you offer for that?
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, we focus a lot on Google. And the reason for that, not that I don't like Facebook, or, well, maybe I don't like Facebook. That's the end.
Conversation for another day. I can see you on Facebook a lot now that you mentioned that.
But as far as Facebook goes, or Pinterest or Twitter took me around the world. Love Twitter. However, I have found a really good return on investment by focusing in on Google. So search engine optimization, getting ranked well, pay-per-click advertising, as well as retargeting, remarketing, and YouTube. YouTube is an amazing platform to help really let me take a step back. There are 4 areas that we like to focus on in marketing: awareness, traffic, conversions, and retention. And the neat thing about what we do, especially even social media, is it addresses all 4 of those areas. And we can do that with Google. We can develop awareness campaigns with display ads. We can drive traffic with SEO or pay-per-click, improve retention with retargeting campaigns, and conversions, with A/B testing. There are a lot of great tools to improve how we can convert. We get people to our website. We work so hard, but do we have the best message? And we can continuously test to find the best message. And so that's what we're doing. And using video as well as photography, obviously that fits just perfectly into what we're doing.
Yeah, conversion is the key, right? Because you want to get those, now that you got them to your website, that's half the battle. You want them to actually, answer your ask or make a purchase.
Right.
So what you're saying is people are making those buying decisions based on the content that's on the website?
Quite often, yeah. And, there's simple little things people can do right now. You can use something like Google Optimize, which will allow you to say A/B test pages on your website relatively simply. And in these pages aren't necessary. A lot of times we think of like landing pages. We have an ad and we send them to a specific page, which you can A/B test. Which one has the best call to action? But what about your about page? What about your contact page? You can A/B test that. You're not necessarily sending paid traffic there. Maybe you are, but you can actually A/B test that. And so that can help your SEO. When people find you on the web, go there, maybe read a blog article, go through the rest of your site. And then they get to the contact page or the about page. Maybe by testing, you can find a combination that works best, that actually drives the traffic. Because look, we think we have great ideas. We think we have the best call to action. We know what it is. We know what they want.
Exactly.
But the thing is, it's really the customer that decides. And I've been in a committee room, I'm sure you have too, Nancy, where, there's 10 different ideas.
Right.
And, and sometimes the person with the biggest, voice in the room wins out, and we go with that idea. Well, why not test them all and let the consumers decide? And that's the way you go about it. Everyone's voice is valuable, and you never know which idea is going to be the winning idea.
So what is A/B testing? Fill me in on that too.
So, yeah, absolutely. So think of it this way. You do this, say, in email marketing. For example, you can send take two versions or two headlines of your email and send that same email or one version of the headline to pick, say, 10% of your total list, and send half of that 10%, so 5% of the people one headline, and the other 5% another headline, and see which one gets the higher click-through rate. And then once you see which one works best, you send it out to the rest of the 90% or the 80% if you take 20% of it. You can also do that with a landing page or your about page or contact page, where half the people that go to your contact page will see this page, and half the people will see this page. And so then you can see, well, when people land on this page, I get 15% more inquiries. Well, I guess I'll keep this page up. And then you can let that run for a while, then maybe test another idea and see if it beats out this page. If it doesn't, then let this run a while. And you can do that with ads. And that's the neat thing about digital marketing. I mean, magazines are beautiful. There's reasons for newspapers, but you're stuck. You have a shelf life of 30 days or a quarter with a magazine. And if you have a better idea, or you find that your headline is not working, you can't change it.
Absolutely.
And you can with digital marketing. And that's the nice thing about it. And it doesn't cost you any more money. You just test it out and put it in there. And so you run a few ads to see which is the best ad, the one that actually gets the attention of the audience that you want.
Right. So let's switch over to YouTube, because they have a conversion rate as well. So what is the YouTube conversion rate? Because a lot of us are still learning about the algorithms. So does the conversion rate in YouTube means that the person watched a certain video for a certain amount of minutes? Does it mean they purchased something? Does it mean they clicked through your website? What exactly is the YouTube conversion rate?
Yeah, it depends on if you're doing advertising. So you can have conversion rates with advertising. If you're talking about just regular traditional YouTube, like you've uploaded your video, there's not necessarily a conversion rate, but there's a lot of important metrics. And the two most important metrics are click-through rate. So you're kind of on there. Yeah, so it's 100 people see your thumbnail. And what percentage of them actually clicked on that thumbnail? And so obviously a 10% click-through rate means 10 out of 100 clicked on it. If 5 out of 100 clicked on it, then it's a 5% click-through rate. So that's important. But
that's the impressions, correct?
So the impressions would be the 100. The click-through rate, CTR, would be how many actually clicked out of all those impressions. So,
because we put our, you broke this down because you've given us quite a bit of advice for YouTube with, the podcast as well as our YouTube channel. And we call it an ad, but it simply was like a 7-minute video. And then you can actually go to YouTube, I guess, to one of their ad websites, and you can say you're in a sense purchasing an ad because you're trying to increase your impressions or your click-through rate.
Yeah.
Do you think that works, or do you just recommend the generic route, or the, I should say, the grassroots effort where people just find you naturally instead of you trying to, make it happen?
Yeah, that's a good question. And the answer is it depends on your goal. If you're in there to advertise and find new audiences that way, in other words, try to grow quicker and reach a larger audience quickly, advertising's the way. And you'll use ads.google.com. That's the same system you would run regular Google ads through. You advertise through YouTube, your YouTube videos that way too. Now, if you want to grow, say you want to be more of an influencer, then you don't want to use ads. Leave ads out of the equation. Ads are only going to hurt you, especially if you don't know how to do ads well. Some people can do ads well and have it benefit their channel, but it's very rare. And the best experts certainly say don't do so, and I would agree. So there are two ways. Let me finish up one quick thing, and then I want to expand on that a little bit. So, because I don't want to miss people getting the two parts. So we mentioned click-through rate, the importance of click-through rate, but then also how long did they watch that video? The percentage of that. That's really important. Did they watch, if it's a 5-minute video, did they watch 4 minutes or did they watch 30 seconds? And you could have a really high click-through rate where you get people there, but if they only watch for 10 seconds, that tells YouTube that, then it's not a very good video. But if you watch to 4 minutes, now it's a great combination. So it's the combination of high click-through rate and watching, view duration, and the view duration percentage that will actually get YouTube to promote your videos for free. For free.
That's great.
Yeah. And because YouTube, and the most traffic on YouTube comes from suggested videos. So that's the key. And that's how, so search is important. Search is a good starting point. But if you want to be out there, you want to get suggested, let YouTube do the promotion. This is quite honestly the truth among all social media. What you want to do is think about, honestly, the best question to ask yourself is, after somebody has enjoyed watching one video, what would they want to watch next?
I see.
And then your chances are, so now let's think of it this way. YouTube wants people to stay on YouTube. So if someone comes and finds one of your videos, really likes it, and then the next one of yours is suggested and they watch that too, that tells YouTube that person really likes it. And if they get a profile of a certain demographic of people that like a certain type of video, like they enjoy cars. I mean, and so they'll say, wow, this person enjoys cars, watch lots of car videos, and they watch multiple videos from this person. We should send it out to more people who like cars. And that's where you get your home screen. If you really want to know how YouTube works, look at your YouTube home screen. Go on there, and what you'll see are videos from the creators you watched and similar creators you watched based on topics you're interested in. And Google's job is to figure out what you want to watch next. And if you make it easy for them, you get rewarded. That's pretty much true in all social media.
Yeah, I see the suggested videos. So that is good information. So basically what you're saying though, in terms of marketing is, it is best to grow organically or naturally instead of,
it depends. I mean, obviously if you have the time and you want to become more of an influencer kind of a person, but if you have a product that you want to sell right now, you don't want to wait 6 months, a year to get the subscribers.
4,000 subscribers. The magic number.
If you don't get there, so why don't you, advertise for it and have a landing page and go through that process. I've done that with a number of clients, do it regularly. And you still want good videos because you want people who watch most of the video, and that you can test multiple videos to see which one they watch the most of and then keep that video. And so it's the same type of an idea. But it really depends on your goal. I mean, there are great reasons to advertise on YouTube, but if you're thinking of just developing your YouTube channel, don't use advertising to try to boost that, what should be organic.
Yeah, isn't that what they do on Google ads? I mean, aren't you essentially purchasing an ad to get clicks or for a click-through rate so you can sell a product or service? Isn't that the goal?
Yeah. So when the reason why Google ads are so powerful is because these are buyers. I have a question about a topic, and you have the answer. And so you put up a Google ad with the answer. And a lot of times your product or service is that solution. And so you can narrow it down to people who have a specific problem. And then you put an ad up as the solution. And so you can drive rather than doing the organic route in the same kind of a thing, trying to work your way up to the top 5 of Google organic results. You can just advertise.
What's the trade-off though? Because I know like the Google ads and YouTube ads, they can be expensive. So like for instance, the one ad that we did get like, I have to show you the analytics one day, but it was either I think it was 15,000 impressions and like 5,000 click-through rate. So with all that being said and done, I think the ad was like $200. We didn't get any new members from it. We did not get a whole bunch of subscribers. So people probably have more success with the Google ads, but I can imagine like it's probably more expensive too. I mean,
well, YouTube ads are a lot less expensive. Like you can get 2 cents a view, 3 cents a view, where Google ads in Google search can be $1, $2. Well, I wouldn't even say $1. I'd say 2, 3. Some of my clients pay $10 per click. However, the ROI is still positive.
Okay. So they did their return
$5,000, but they bring home 20,000, 25,000. So it's important to know the ROI.
Yeah.
And so if you know the ROI and you need to, and the thing is the worst thing you can possibly do, and I'll say this to anyone who watches this, please listen, do not take $50, $100 and go see what happens. I have a better solution. I'll give you my address. Just send it to me because you're going to get the same result. It's a process. It takes a real budget, because it's data. And, we're talking about impressions, 100 impressions. And let's say you get a 2% click-through rate. That means that's 2 people that came to your website. Well, you want a conversion rate of about, 2% or above, even 1% may be right. But that means you have to get so many people to the website. Exactly. And if you put $50 in, that's going to get if you do say $50 a month, that's going to take you 6 months to even get what would be correct, proper math, 1 conversion and successfully. However, after after the third month, you're feeling like, man, you're just
wasting your money. Exactly.
So you
get $50 a month.
So that's why you got to put more money in because the data comes through so you can test those ads and see what it takes. So I usually recommend, excuse me, if you're going to do a real campaign, you probably need to start off with $750 or above. $750 a month.
Yeah.
Now you can go lower if you're hyper focused. For example, I do have clients that do, $500 campaigns, even $300 campaigns, but they're focused in on like 3 zip codes around their business.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
But otherwise, and honestly, I also see that Google, as you I've had many clients who've gone from 750 to 1,500, and we see a little remarkable improvement in the quality of leads they're getting too, because Google, smart people as they are giving the high quality leads to their higher paying customers.
Yeah, bidders. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the people who are, spending more money a month with them. So, yeah. So, not necessarily always fair, but you can get a good sense of it and then scale from there.
Absolutely.
Give it a few months and give it a lot of testing. And if you're really unsure, because you don't just want to throw a bunch of keywords in there. I can't tell you how many times. And Google will be happy to give you a call once you opened up your account and try to help you out. But I have fixed more Google campaigns than I can count. They if you have a technical issue, wonderful. But these people are not marketers. All they want to do is throw a lot of keywords out there and a lot of stuff out there, and it's going to just be wasting a bunch of your money. And it happens every time. So nice people and all, but they're not that helpful.
I gotcha. So say a business owner comes to you, they have a brick and mortar, they've been hit with COVID-19, they want to have more of an online platform. Do you roll out a plan for them? What's like step 2?
So we figure out what it is that is realistic for them. I like to, say, look, we need to try this for 3 to 6 months for sure. What is a reasonable budget that you can work with? The best option is a combination of search engine optimization and pay-per-click going at the same time. They kind of support each other. It's kind of like this, display advertising supports search, and search advertising supports your SEO. And in the sense of, yes, I've proven it that having ads running, and it may be because of a relevance thing, but whatever it is, but having ads related to your keywords going to your website does help your website SEO. I've seen it happen. I've literally had a 10-year website that was not ranking for anything. And then one of the agencies I was working with, we set it all up and they just flipped it on for just a day to test it out before we went to the big campaign. Don't know why they did it, but they did. And 3 days later, that website was actually ranking for that keyword. I mean, I have it. I watched it in real time. I mean, not that they were ranking really high. They were like from nowhere to be found above 100 to maybe number 68. But
that's still pretty good.
It still shows you that it had a direct effect. And it could be a relevance thing. I mean, there's a lot of theories behind that. So anyway, back to it, it really just depends on what the goals are. So more than anything, I'm more concerned about the business owner's goals and then developing a plan. Because remember, I mentioned awareness, traffic, conversions, and retention. What are those areas that we need to address? Because some business owners are really good at awareness. They're just natural PR machines. You've met them. We all know, they're great. And that's wonderful. But the conversion thing or, getting people to the website or follow-up may not be there. They're great at the introductions, but there's just no follow-up. Or maybe they're just not very good at the PR. They don't like to talk about themselves or their business. And so they need help that way. So you have to really figure out what it is that is best for the customer and then develop a plan around that. But you do have to have a realistic budget. And sometimes, it's time or money. And sometimes you have to put your own time in first before you can say, okay, I have a realistic budget.
Okay. Well, let's switch back to organically. That's the kind of the paid advertising side of the social media beast. With organics, let's talk about the YouTube algorithms and even Amazon, because I know you dabble a little bit with Amazon too. So I have a book on Amazon, Fire Your Job, Be Your Own Boss. Well, around the same time, there's I don't really consider myself a business coach. I'm more of like the director. But there's a business coach that I work with as well. I met her through a women's business organization. She published a business book about a year after I did, and it went Amazon bestseller overnight. So it's like, oh my goodness. So I called her. I was like, oh, congratulations on your Amazon book becoming a bestseller. What'd you do? She's like, Nancy, literally, I did nothing. Like she said, she went to bed one night, woke up the next one, and she said she swears it was just like a fluke. And I was like, nothing like that has ever happened to me. I don't know what happened for everything.
Sometimes it's timing. There's a lot. I can tell you how I did it with a book of mine on Amazon, putting it in a number one position in its category. I'll get to that in a moment. But sometimes it really is the campaign behind it. We want to build up that demand beforehand, and then you have that release, and there's this drive. She very well may have said something on social media, or maybe it's just the right timing. And Amazon happened to put it in front of the right person at the right time as also purchased or a suggestion. And they could have, someone could have bought your book and then saw that book and said, oh, okay. And then there you go. And
because I know Amazon, even for movies like Prime, they will suggest movies to you to watch based on what, they really look at your history.
Yep.
But it was just really weird. She said she sent out a blast to her email list.
Well, there you go.
And, Yeah, a few people purchased it, but she said it was nowhere like in the thousands. And she's like, literally, it went bestseller in like a week. So she's like, she said she did something to trick the algorithm, and she doesn't even know what it was.
Yeah, no, she kicked it off. Honestly, she kicked it off, the algorithm, and again, it could be the right. Sometimes it really is. I'm not saying it is. Maybe it's just such a good book and the right idea. The title was perfect. Whatever it may have been. Enough of people from her list went there, purchased it, rattled the algorithm enough to put it in front of a few of the other right people, and it just snowballed from there. I mean, it could have maybe an hour earlier sending out that email list, it wouldn't have been the same result. It does work that way sometimes.
Yeah.
But it does require you to, well, let me share with you what I did with one of my books. So I had a book called 1 Hour Photographer, which is the business of photography. Came out, say, 2011. And what I did was just that. I put out the first chapter. Actually, I put out not the first chapter, the whole book.
Oh wow! You
I put out the whole book as a PDF and sent it out there and said, for 24 hours, it's free.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
I ended up getting, it went viral.
But
they had to give me their email. And so when it launched, I sent it to that email list of those people. And then after a certain point in time, I just did, the first chapter, but started off with the whole thing. And then when it launched on Amazon, I sent it out to the email list, and a lot of people bought it for their Kindles and they purchased it. Then immediately just started going up the ladder that way. So having a plan behind those kinds of launches is really important. And because going back to those algorithms, whether YouTube or Amazon, the best thing you can do is help that algorithm sell more of you. And so you have to think about what it's looking for. And, one, they want people to purchase and they want people to watch more. I mean, any social media, they want people to stay on their platform. And so the best you can do. And that's why YouTube channels that have this topic and then this topic and then this topic don't go very far, because and I had that same issue early on with my channel, because I was thinking, I deal with marketing, so I'll talk about SEO today. And tomorrow I'll talk about Facebook. And tomorrow I'll talk about Twitter. And the next day I'm talking about scope creep for your projects. Well, okay, so someone comes on for Facebook. They don't care about scope creep. They don't care about SEO. They don't care. So they don't watch any more videos and they never come back. And YouTube says, oh, they're not that interested. So they don't show anymore on their homepage or suggest them. However, if I did video after video after video on Facebook, then it would have been, oh, this is a person who specializes in Facebook or SEO or whatever it may be. And so people will watch one after the other. So they'll show them to more people who are interested in Facebook, because they know people will stay on YouTube when they watch one of those videos, which is the other part of, look, if you have a call to action with every single video and try to sell on every single video and send people off the platform, well, why would YouTube suggest you if you're just sending people off their platform?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So
if you're constantly telling people to go to your website, or like you said, you're trying to get them off of YouTube, you're like, I want them to stay on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So tell them to watch the next video or link up the next video that's related. So if you have another video that's similar to the video you just put up there, put it as an end card, put it as some kind of a note anywhere on the video to go see more and stay on the platform.
Yeah, you tell your audience to subscribe to my channel. So make sure you subscribe to Nancy O'Neill. Yeah. You also tell them to click on notifications so they can get your future videos too.
Yeah.
You're multi-talented. So how did you decide what topic did you select for your YouTube channel? Because I've only seen a few of your videos. And then how did you select that particular topic? How did you narrow in and hone in on that? Because you do quite a bit of things.
Yeah. So, I've off my first podcast back in 1999 was creative business, and obviously coming from a creative background. And the YouTube channel's often been creative business related, but like I said, I was doing, okay, now we're doing social media. Now we're doing pay-per-click. Now we're doing SEO. We're doing all these different things. I'm still thinking it's still, still marketing, but
relative. Yeah.
yeah. So I've gone through different phases. Okay. Hey, I'm your creative marketing channel. Hey, I'm your social media marketing channel. Hey, I'm your, your channel, to help you, I don't know, get up in the morning. I don't care.
Jack
I'm
of
here
all
for
trades,
you.
master of none.
Yeah. So eventually, especially this year, I decided that, look, what is it ultimately that the people who would watch my channel, the creative people, want? Get more customers, get more clients. Bottom line, how do I do that? And so to create one video after another video. So actually, in a way, I can talk about SEO for a moment or Twitter for a moment, but at the end of the video, it's about how Twitter can get you more clients, not how to change your name on Twitter, not how to look at the analytics unless it's client related, but really at the end of the video, you'll have some ideas to help you get more clients. So you're more willing to watch the next video that has some more ideas for as a creative entrepreneur to get more clients. So they're related. Now, so that's been going on the last few months. It seems to be working out. At the same time, I had over 1,000 videos on that channel, and I unlisted 687.
Oh my goodness!
Because they were unrelated, and they were driving traffic. But then if people go see that video and then go see another one, it would just be a bad signal to YouTube because my current videos may have nothing to do with that video, and so I got rid of those. So for the most part, the videos that are on my channel should relate in some way, or at least appease and be appreciated by the same audience. Not perfectly, but all my videos now, I have the word client or customer in the headline, and that reminds me and that viewer that this is about, getting more customers. And so that's what I've been doing. And so, grow the channel. In many ways, it's kind of starting over. Because a lot of the people who are watching don't watch now because they're interested in something else. But so in a sense, it's almost like starting from scratch, but that's fine. I'm starting from scratch with a few thousand subscribers, So
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, a lot of people would trade places with you right now. So in other words, you pretty much reinvented yourself in social media, and it's really great that you were able to keep, somewhat of your following.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I've always been, had that creative entrepreneur angle of what I do. Because a lot, just focusing on, photographers, writers, designers, people like that who followed my work. And that's worked out really well. But I've just honed down even more because I know if I want to grow on YouTube, that is exactly what I have to do, is be that focused, that laser focused on who the audience is, because the most important person is your audience members, the people who watch, and you have to be thinking about them. What would they want to see next? And that's everything. And there just really is no other answer. Doing things for you is fine. Just know the consequences.
Right. So are you actually getting customers? Because I'm assuming that's kind of what your goal is too, with YouTube. Because so like, how many videos, because I know consistency is really important with social media. How many customers, like what's your return on investment for all of the sweat equity that you've put into these YouTube videos and creating your channel?
I would say absolutely negative on YouTube. It's a labor of love. However, all of the elements from the podcasts, the YouTube and all that helps. One thing that has always helped me, which has been very helpful across the board for my photography, as well as being found online. I got a new client yesterday because they found me on my website. All that activity adds to the overall my profile in the big Google brain. And so Google knows that I am in creative marketing at some level through YouTube, my podcast and all that. So my name is out there with creative marketing and links to my websites, and it just pushes them to the top. So if you went, say, YouTube Consultant Detroit, you would find my websites, which are, I would be the first one you found. But and that's how I got the new client. However, it's a website that certainly needs updating.
Okay.
As all of ours always do. So you can type that out, that'll be there. So, but that's because of my work. So sometimes indirectly, I've made lots of money. Most of the money, I hate to say it that way, but most of the money that I have made online has come from search engine optimization, being easily found online. And all this other activity around it has supported that. So all of your activity, Nancy, all over the place supports your core hub in your website and helps direct, because your name is out there, and you don't necessarily always have to have a link. Sometimes it's just your name and that description that's very familiar, and where you're from and what you do, and all that stuff helps Google understand. So So yeah, I mean, I think I would like YouTube to be more of that, and that's why I continue. Here's the thing, YouTube is very hard, and there are a lot of people who try, but most of the time they give up, because when you look at your home screen and when you look at the suggested videos, you see these YouTubers with thousands, tens of thousands, millions of subscribers, and you're like, what the heck?
I know.
But you don't realize the fact that that's like the 1.0001% that you're being shown. They're really successful. YouTube is just not showing you the thousands and the other really 95% that are struggling just like you and me, trying to get to the 5,000 mark, trying to get to 10,000. And it really, it takes a while. I mean, the biggest YouTuber, one of the biggest YouTubers on the planet, at least the fastest growing, is Mr. Beast. And he has he's hit maybe near 50, 60 million now, but it took him 5 years to get to about 7,000.
Oh, wow.
So it's something like, it's just those kinds of things that people don't see. And a lot of big YouTubers had another channel before this one. They tried one, it totally failed. So they came up with them. They took what they learned from that channel and started another one. And,
well, what is failure anyway with YouTube? Is that like 1 or 2 subscribers after a year? What does that mean?
Quitting.
It's all relative. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Because it depends. Business channels don't get as much traffic as children cartoon channels. I mean, children are everywhere on YouTube and watching video after video after video. And of course, they dominate. So a business channel like mine and yours, we're not getting a gold play button. It's just not going to happen. However, we can certainly be an influence within our community, because you never know who's watching. I'm always amazed to find out who is actually watching the stuff that I do. And the same for you.
Yeah, I was shocked. I just met Detroit Free Press reporter yesterday. He's creative. I have his card. You probably know. Well, he's only been in Detroit for about a year. He's from Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And he's a creative. I think he said arts and culture journalist. And he's like, I said, yeah, I'm Nancy. I have an organization called DBHG. And he goes, I've heard of you. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't believe it. Are you serious? I was so geeked. Now, we've never been in the Free Press.
Yeah.
They never ran a story on us, but I was like so geeked that he even heard about me. So I was like, how did you hear about me?
Because you're active. And that's the key. Social media, SEO, all of it. It's activity.
I think I saw a tweet because I have on my tweet, that's almost all I have is just people in the media.
Yeah.
I did that purposely. And then he's like, and then a couple of my, colleagues, they retweeted it. So I was just so hyped because I was like, it's working.
Twitter's great.
I was so excited.
Twitter took me around the world, literally, and, after my book on digital marketing, social media for photographers, I saw something, someone follow me from Australia.
Oh, wow.
And so I said, let me just check. It said the book speakers. And so I reached out and said, hey, thanks for following. And the next thing I know, 5 minutes later, he's like, hey, I've got your book. Okay, great. Australia.
Okay. Yeah.
And by the way, would you come to Australia to speak to us?
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, let me think about that. Yes, yes, I will. And so,
In a heartbeat.
so they, literally about 8 months later, I was landing in Adelaide, Australia. And,
That's awesome.
all because of Twitter and people following. And so Twitter can have a great impact. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, and who would think, because the little micro blogs are so small, it's like less than 100 words. But for a lot of people, I mean, it might even be 50 words. That's as much information as they have time to read. So to a lot of people, it's perfect. It's like I get exactly the facts that I need or information I need. I move on to the next story, whatever, content I'm looking for at the time. So some people love it. I personally, I was never a huge Twitter fan because I didn't, I thought, the blogs were too short, but some people, that's their thing. They like just getting little news bites and they're fine with that. So
I've always referred, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was saying, I've always referred to it as the people's AP wire. And it really has worked that way. You can think of it that way. But, if you want to attract architects, what do you need to tweet?
Information about architecture. Is that right?
Well, maybe, or things that architects would care about.
Oh, okay.
And that's not always the same thing.
Right.
So a lot of times an architect will share stuff about architecture and then they get a bunch of architects following them. Who cares? They want home buyers or people who want, so you need to really be strategic that way. Who do you want to attract? Well, what would they really be interested in? And sometimes it's not the surface. So you really need to dig in. If I was, if you're a photographer, and looking for brides, what are brides interested in? It's not necessarily a bunch of information about photography. It's probably a suite of things, a suite of ideas that are important. Yeah.
So let's pivot to content, because my book publicist, her name is Sylvia Hubbard. You might know Sylvia. She got me started with the book, just kind of encouraged me to get it written, and she took a look at it. She didn't edit it, but she looked at it and gave me some marketing suggestions. She said that content is king and consistency is queen. So if someone's thinking about starting a podcast or they want to increase their social media presence, what are some of the suggestions that you have for how they should get started?
First of all, make sure whatever the topics are, it's something you really enjoy. Don't chase trends unless it's relevant to you.
Okay.
And yes, think of going back to our conversation about what do people want to really want to know, and start thinking about that. Be consistent. And I think the number one thing here's the bottom line. I've had podcasts and YouTube and I've made great inroads. I talk actually just today, I talked with some really good friends of mine. We meet once. It's like a mastermind group. There's 6 of us. And these folks are the people we know is a group of 6 people are very well connected, but these are people that I used to watch and be like, wow, I wish, I knew them. And now I know them, and now we're really good friends. And you don't know where this is going to take you. It's not, sometimes it's very simply the right person at the right time who heard you, just like the journalist just happened to see that tweet. It's not necessarily high numbers, but there's one thing that has been very helpful for me, and that's just not giving up. Just keep going. I am not necessarily, not even close to the best YouTuber, best podcaster, best blogger. But I'll tell you one thing I've done. I've outlasted so many people through the years that I've gained the benefit of the audiences that they lost.
Yeah, that's good.
So that consistency and keep it going. And I get people all the time. The funny thing, there's a few videos in India about my channel.
Okay.
And I get a lot of traffic. That actually hurts my channel, but we don't have to get into the details of why that is. But basically because most of the people coming, because these videos are in Hindi. And so the people coming to my channel come there, see I'm speaking English and leave. And
I gotcha.
You can imagine how that does not help the channel.
Right.
But But the first videos were about me, how I had like 2,000 subscribers at the time, almost 1,000 videos. And I had been on for 10 years. Well, my channel's over 10 years old, but I really been focusing on it for 4. But
Okay.
you get all these people who keep coming and say, oh, going in, I can't believe you've been on for 10 years and only have so many subscribers. And, oh, you just, I feel so sorry for you, basically. It's like, poor sucker, it's really what, but they're trying to be kind, but it's all basically, man,
sympathy. Yeah.
Hero, sucker. It's just like horrible. But in that sense, but you
said Mr. Beast. I mean, Mr. Beast was out there for 7 years before he started all over, and you've met him. He's like a mentor of yours, correct?
Yeah. Well, I can't say that. No, I know the people who know him, and I have met him, but we're not or anything like that. So, I mean, he does follow. Here, this is nice. Mr. Beast, like what he has on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like 20, he has like 20 million, or I don't know, just outrageous number of followers on Twitter. He follows like 1,100 people, something like that. And I am one of those people.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, but that's not because we're best friends necessarily.
Yeah. He's just checking you out.
We're in the industry.
He admires your work. So that's good.
Yeah. We're in the industry together. So that's really why. And I am verified on Twitter, so that was a lot easier for him to say, all right, boom, he verified on Twitter. So as a colleague. So anyway, but that, my friends at TubeBuddy, which is a great plugin for YouTubers, they gave me a stat that says that the average YouTube channel, well, why don't you guess, Nancy, how many years to get 1,000 subscribers?
Oh, I'm kind of new to this ball game.
I put you on the spot. It's okay.
I'm the Facebook queen, or one of them anyway. So everything else I've kind of like delved into and ventured out in the last few years with the book. So 1,000, I would say, I know the first 100 is your hardest. Yeah. So
1,000's the second hardest. That's for sure.
Okay. So I would say maybe a year to get 100. And 1,000, I'm going to say like 5 years. Is that a good
5 years is the answer. You're the winner.
Price is right. When I win.
So, so that's the thing. People are so down on themselves because the average, it really does take a lot of time, to learn. Now, yes, a lot of people get to 1,000 a lot quicker. I think my first 1,000 on my first channel took me about 16 months. So everybody's different, and some people are there in a month. I mean, there's some people hit 1 million in 6, but
oh my goodness,
those are very specialized, entertainment, usually based, personality based channels. So
I'm sure their lifestyle like dramatically changed in 6 months to be able to do that.
Yes. So, but if you're a business person, think about what people may be interested in searching. Don't make it all about you selling them, because once you remember that awareness thing, if I see Nancy regularly,
right,
I see your face, I see you podcasts, I see you interview people, I see your name, I start to trust you. And because I've seen you everywhere,
I see this girl everywhere. She must be good.
Pardon?
I see this girl everywhere. She's got to be good.
Exactly. But just that familiarity brings trust. And so that's part of that being out there. And so being out there breeds that trust compared to the person who's not doing anything.
Right.
And so that's why you do those things, because if someone has seen your work and then Google's a problem, and up pops your business and your name,
I already know
they're
her.
gonna click you. Yeah, exactly. Right. They feel like they know you. Just like, you watch a TV show for a long time, you feel like you know the people, or maybe a musician, you've been following forever. You see everything. You just feel like you know them. You feel like if you saw them on the street, they would know you too.
And, they're like, who are you again?
Yeah, exactly. And it really is the same power, especially with video.
Yeah, because video, I mean, you have to like be a real person. You can't like hide behind anything. It's not just your persona anymore. It's you as a physical person, and depending on what you say. So, and also I think it gives people an opportunity, like a blog gives you an opportunity to establish yourself as an expert.
Yeah.
When you start talking, they kind of find out, well, this person is intelligent. They are smart.
Yes.
They do know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
So I think it's a lot more of an easier sell.
Yep, absolutely. You're absolutely right on. Yeah, so that's one of the big reasons why influencer marketing is so huge right now.
Yeah.
But you can do that at your own level, because when let's say, for example, you have 500 friends on, let's use Twitter, for example, but maybe you're connected to another 5 or 6 other people who also have 500-600, followers. So if you are really connected and building real relationships, just like real networking, there's no difference online or offline networking. It is really about relationships. So if you have 5-10 people that you're all working together, kind of like my friends that I have my video thing with, my mastermind
class.
Yeah. Every Tuesday, and we're all over the world, and that's the same thing. And if I said to them, hey, I have an important thing coming out, could all of you share it in your stuff? They're right there. They're there to support you. So you have your own cluster of really
like an ecosystem.
Yeah. And so your one tweet isn't to 500 or whatever, Twitter decides to share it with. Maybe they share it with half your account or 10%, whatever. But when other people retweet it, then their people, and then it goes a lot further. And so it really is about building those relationships.
Yeah, I've heard people do the same thing on YouTube. It's like, we did the same thing. You kind of barter like subscriptions, like you subscribe to my channel, I subscribe to your channel. So, and I think what you're saying about with influencers, they're just kind of doing it on a larger level.
They are, but they're also micro influencers too. I mean, in other words, you don't have to have 50,000 subscribers. You could have 5,000 subscribers who really care about what you're doing. And that can be more powerful. I remember one time early in Twitter days where I really learned this lesson. So I tweeted an article out there, and 3 really big names in social media retweeted it, and I was thrilled. And then another person tweeted it, I noticed, and she was a college student. She had 500 followers. The other 3 at the time had a total of 50,000. Her tweet took my article way further than those 5 high influencers because of relevance. She was a photography student, and this article was totally something that photography students would care about. And so she retweeting that to her friends, and it went further. The other people were business people, entrepreneurs, but the retweet meant nothing to the followers of them. And it got nowhere. So relevance and an audience that cares exactly about what you're doing is super important. And influencers, again, going back to that whole idea, influencer of 5,000 people, that's a value, because this 5,000 people who really trust you, or 1,000 people who really trust you. You may have 5,000 subscribers in all different locations, but there's 1,000 of them that really just trust Nancy, and that's it. And so that's highly valuable. And that's why influencers are so good. You trust somebody, you feel like you know them, whether it's on their Instagram or wherever, because you've continuously consuming all their stuff. And when they say, hey, go buy this, it's a good deal, you're more likely to do it.
Yeah, that's like Oprah and her like Christmas list.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is if it's good enough for Oprah, it's good enough for me.
Who can argue with that?
Fabulous. I love her Christmas list. And there's things at different price points that, this could go from very low to very high. Yep. So she's hitting people at multiple different, streams of income and in their financials. So it's a great idea. I mean, when anytime she endorses a book, it becomes a bestseller. So, that's
some serious, influence.
Exactly. She's probably the biggest and one of the biggest influencers right now.
Absolutely. Still is to this day. Amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to wrap up with Facebook because I want to find out what your thing is with Facebook. I love Facebook. They have so much of my information on Facebook. I think I have 5,000 friends. I need to start a new account. But what is it about Facebook like that you're concerned about? Is it that you don't really take it seriously in terms of like trying to sell things on Facebook?
Not as much. I mean, the difference between advertising on Facebook and say Google, Facebook is more passive advertising.
Okay.
It's not, someone's not searching. You're trying to, Facebook's really good at finding the right people that may have the problem, but when people put something in a search box, they have the problem. And that you're solving versus kind of, a billboard on the side of the road. It may be relevant, maybe not. Now, Facebook's pretty good at because they have all that data on you, pretty good at getting the right ad in front of the right person.
Yeah.
And, hey, the idea, if I'm going to have an ad in front of me, it might as well be relevant to me.
Right.
However, as a business person, being encouraged to start a Facebook page, look, it used to be you could really go far with your Facebook page and get a lot of activity. But now 1-2% of the people. So if you have 1,000 followers, Facebook is going to show it to 20. And it's really,
you mean the page? Because I'm thinking I'm getting the pages confused with the groups.
Yeah.
Because I've got a couple of Facebook groups on there too.
Yeah, groups are more the way to go. Especially if you want to develop a industry or be some sort of influencer in that way, or network and based on a topic. So groups are really good, and I do highly recommend them. Pages, you can. I know a number of people have done very well with their pages because those rules that I mentioned before keep people coming back, get them to the next thing. That algorithm still works on the page that way. It's just much harder. And there are better ways in better platforms where you can, build that relationship a lot better than a Facebook business page. But you do need that for advertising.
Yeah, just for the presence. And I would say if people don't have a Facebook page, well, first of all, if you don't have a website, I think that a Facebook business page is a good place to start because you need to have some type of presence in social media.
Right. But this is where you say, what don't you like? You're probably not going to find it, unless they're looking for you specifically, because Facebook is not showing it. Now, there's two ways to approach it. You can build a community on a Facebook page, but to your point, I'd rather do a group. You'd have more luck. Yeah. And but quite often your Facebook page is kind of like, for many of us, our websites, it's an open for business sign. Some people aren't very active on their website, but you have that button on your website to go to the Facebook page. They're going to go there, like it, and never come back. Facebook's never going to show it to them again. It's never going to happen. However, if you have a Facebook page and they go there and you haven't updated it in 6 months, they have an opinion about you now. So
you're just inactive. You're not you're not really working your business.
Right. So they're wondering, wonder what's wrong here. So you really should have a plan. If you have a Facebook page, have a plan. I would not put too much energy into it other than kind of an open for business kind of a mentality. We've updated some information. We're sharing valuable stuff and go from there. That's where I am on Facebook today. Again, better ways to develop community on Facebook. Facebook Live can be good. Facebook, there's a lot of great opportunities. Facebook page, just for me, in most cases, not all, but most cases, it's an open for business sign.
Yeah, we're on with StreamYard. We actually are live on Facebook right now and YouTube. So I just wanted to see what your opinion was. I have had success with the groups. So DBHG, we have our own group on Facebook. I have found, like you said, I haven't had as much success with the ads with Facebook. And when I try to promote events, there's a lot of people that say, oh, I'm interested, or I might go, or I'm going to go. They say yes for attending. And I never see those people at events. So I just kind of didn't focus as much energy on, trying to promote events. But I think community wise, I think it's a good idea. It's free. Yeah. So you just kind of have to find consistency. Say that one more time.
Just keep the consistency. Whatever you do, whether it's advertising or your social, just try to do things to be consistent. So pick the things you're going to do, be consistent with them. Don't try to do everything, be everywhere in the beginning. Pick your core, pick the thing you want to build, and then branch out gradually as you know you can be consistent with the other things too.
Yeah. Have you heard this before, and do you agree with it? You have some media experts that say pick 1 to 2 social media platforms and focus on those more than the other ones. Do you agree with that, and why? I
agree. I have what I refer to as a code. Yeah, I mentioned the combination code. Actually, in my videos and all about that, I talk about the combination code, which is 7531. 7 sources of income, 5 people, like a mastermind to support you. 3 processes, always working on 3 processes to improve your business. And 1 is channel building and picking that one channel to be known for.
Okay.
And then as you build that one channel, because remember, look, if you decide on YouTube, that's great, but you're not going to get people from LinkedIn or Facebook or other places really to go to your YouTube channel. People on YouTube will stay on YouTube. People on Twitter will stay on Twitter. Can it happen if it's relevant? If you have a lot of influence on Instagram and you open up a YouTube channel with a related topic, you could probably bring a good number of them over. But for the most part, the rule is no. Pick your one. Look, social media is hard. And trying to be the best at 5 social media platforms, that's tough work. It's tough just to get your foot, moving in the momentum in one of them.
Okay, so I'm going to guess that your number 1 is YouTube.
It is. It used to be Twitter. Like I said, Twitter took me around the world. But today I've been focusing the last 3-4 years totally on YouTube and not giving up till I get to where I want to go here. And
tell us why YouTube is your favorite.
Just kind of what we talked about. I think it is the best in terms of influence. It's kind of like, you can be a newspaper columnist, or you can be a national newspaper columnist, or you could be a national TV host. Which ones gets more influence? You see, blogging versus video. Video has that relationship element. So it's that kind of thing. It's kind of the TV of social media. And so I think as far as developing my next steps in my career, that's where I just want to be. I enjoy it. I enjoy podcasting. I enjoy the audio portion. It's all, we have,
And I think either you or Mike Rizzo told me that the videos take you higher on the Google or the Google search engines. It can be helpful with
SEO. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, all that activity, and it's part of the Google ecosystem because Google owns YouTube. So that can be very helpful too.
It's fascinating. It makes financial sense for YouTube to be your best social media platform. I mean, to me, it sounds, even without you having your 4,000 subscribers, which I guess is the magic number for YouTube advertising, it makes sense if it's going to take you higher on the search engine optimization, so more people can find you and support your business.
Yeah. Oh, I know you're speaking about the it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. And then you can get into the partner program and then you can make some money from YouTube, which is also a nice thing too.
You're probably taking part of that too, because that might be, is that one of your 7 sources of income?
Yeah, well, actually, I have AdSense for other areas. I was in the YouTube partner program, but a few years ago, they made a switch. And they kicked me out because I didn't have enough watch time, and I haven't made it up yet.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm sorry.
And I wasn't making a lot of money. I was making like $30 to $50 a month at the time, but I only had 1,000 subscribers. So
that's not bad. Yeah. I mean, it's passive income.
Exactly. So I'll get there again. And it'll pop. But I do get Google income from AdSense and I have a lot of websites and things like that in different niches. And
okay, sounds good. Well, thank you, Rosh, so much for all of your help and advice and mentorship. If you all ever need a good photographer or social media expert, Rosh is a great person, a resource to use. If people are interested in either your photography business or social media consultant business, how should they contact you? Like, which website would you like to send them to, since you got multiple ones?
Yeah, I'll keep it simple. Yeah, there are a few things you maybe go to the about page and there'll be some issues, but anyway, Rosh.media. Go there, you'll get me. Rosh.media. Instead of .com, it's media.
Okay, thanks so much, Rosh, for spending some time with us today. Everybody, be sure that you subscribe to our channel, Nancy O'Neill, for more DBHG podcasts, and make sure you hit the notification button so you can find out about upcoming videos as well. Thanks, everybody, for spending time with us today. We look forward to seeing you the next time. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.